Hey there, Tinkercad friends. A long time ago, I showed you how to cut up an STL file in Tinkercad, and one of my viewers mentioned that there's a faster way to do this by just simply copying the model and then make it a whole and scale it slightly down. So I gave it a shot and watch how it turns out. Once again, we do import and we choose a file. If you remember right, this was a STL file that I found on Thingiverse, and when you hit open and import, you can bring it into your project. With the original project, I was making a stencil to trace around the outside of this, but I didn't want to print all the plastic on the inside, so I was trying to just be frugal. And then this is the technique that was mentioned. If you hit duplicate or do Control D and then move your copy across so you can see what you're doing. I'm going to change the color just so it's easier to notice as well. And then you could shrink each piece on its own, but it's better if you hold down Shift so then it goes at the same scale. Turn that one into a whole, bring it back to your project, select both, and align them to center and center. And then all of a sudden we find out there's a problem with this one. Now you may have been able to do this in a bunch of places, but this one, it doesn't scale to a way that it cuts out perfect. But I like the technique, so watch this strategy I came up with to fix it. It's a lot of brute force, but with a little persistence, it does actually yield pretty cool results. So I'm going to bring my old, what was going to be the hole out. I'm going to turn it into a regular piece again. I'm going to bring out a box and I'm going to just cut out the center of it. So all I'm doing is breaking the project up into a couple chunks. I'm going to do Control D with that. I'm going to use the arrow keys to nudge it over to the other side. If I were really trying for perfection, I could really measure my spots, but I'm just showing you how this can work. I'm going to take those two pieces and I'm going to group them. I'm going to duplicate that new piece because I'm going to build all my other pieces from up there. And now when I bring this piece that has been scrunched, I'm going to use my top view and my fit to selection, and I need to make it a little bit taller. So I'm going to switch to the top front view and I'm going to pull that out so now I can see it. And when I turn that into a hole, you can see, I'll go back to that top view, it's actually going to fit pretty doggone nifty. So now I'm going to take those two pieces and group them, and I've instantly cut out a nice chunk. So I'm going to go back to my original piece. I'm going to ungroup it. This time I only want the right side, so I'm going to take my same piece. I'm going to nudge it over, and I'm going to cut it right at that little spike. I don't really know for sure if that's smart, but it's what I'm choosing. I'm going to group them. I'm going to take this little piece. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to bring it down. This time, I'm going to make it taller ahead of time. And a hole. And let's see how well it fits in place. So if we zoom into selection, you can see it's close, but it's still going to cut out. Let's see what happens if I shrink it. And see, this is what I found was an issue. These two pieces just don't fit well. But let's try this. I'm going to go to rate. I don't even like that. I'm going to go back to where I was. And I'm going to take this piece and duplicate it. I'm going to bring it out to the side. I'm going to turn it into a solid. I'm going to bring out another piece to slice with. I'm going to group those, and I'm going to turn that into a hole. Bring my old template across, and you can see that this one I can take and arrange just the way I want, and group those, and I'm back in business. I'm going to go back to my old duplicate up here. I'm going to turn it into a solid, bring out another hole. This time I'm going to cut off the top half. Group it, make it a hole, and then move that into place over on this side. Just using the arrow keys to nudge till I'm happy. I'm going to shrink that down 1 or 2, see if I can get it in there. What if I pull it up? Alright, so if I switch to 0.1 millimeters, I can then nudge and get it so that I'm happy enough. It's not going to be perfect, but it works pretty doggone groovy. I'm going to do Control Z to undo that, and I'm going to just group it and call it groovy. Now I'm going to quickly ungroup, and I'm going to ungroup again, so I've got those 2 holes that I can select. Actually got to select what I want to ungroup it. And then I'm going to take those 2 holes, and I'm going to hold down Shift and select both of them. And I'm going to group those 2 holes, and I'm going to duplicate them. I'm going to use the Epic Flip tool. I want to flip them on that side. Got to move your mouse away from the arrows, and then I'm going to switch to 1 millimeter. Actually, I'm going to go by 5 millimeters. Move that across the other side. I'll align it perfectly in a minute, but right now I just want to group those. I'm going to so totally cheat and do the little chunk in the middle using my regular hole tool. Cut out that part that was kind of annoying to me. I can cut out this with a cylinder. Well, and actually I'm going to stretch this all the way across because I want to do the same thing all the way. So I'm going to group those. You can see I can clean up a few things with other tools if I really care. Then I'm going to go back to this one. Nudge it into place. Wrong one. Click on those holes. Nudge it into place. Switch to 0.1 millimeters so that I can really hone it down. I'm also going to switch to top view so I got a better view. Fit view to selection. And I think I like it right there. Grab, select. And as you can see, it is doable. With this STL, the technique of duplicating and then using the duplicate to cut out the shape did not work perfect, but I do think the idea was unbelievably slick. With a little brute force, you can see that you can actually get pretty decent results. If you see other ways or you have an idea of what else I could try, please share that in the comments. And thanks everyone for watching, following, and subscribing.